Hey everyone. Welcome back to the channel. If you're into coins, history, or just love discovering hidden treasures, then you're in for a treat today. We're diving into a specific coin that could change the way you look at your spare change forever. Today, we're talking about the 1 cent 1984 US coin, a coin that holds way more value than you might think. We're going to break down its history, its rarity, and why it could be worth big money. So, let's get into it. Rare coins, alright, let's start with the basics. In 1984, the US Mint produced billions of pennies, but among them, one 1984 coin holds special significance. Now, the face value of this coin, like all pennies, is just 1 cent. But what makes this coin particularly interesting is how certain conditions, such as its mint mark, condition, and even subtle errors, can give it a much higher value than you'd expect. Now, don't get me wrong, the 1984 penny isn't some rare mythical treasure you'll find under every rock, but it's definitely a coin that could surprise you. There are millions of these pennies out there, but there are certain features that make some of them stand out more than others. Let's take a step back in time. The year 1984 was an exciting year for the US Mint. They produced the usual coins for circulation, including the 1 cent, but the real story starts when we look closely at the D mint mark, which indicates it was minted in Denver. By the mid-80s, the US was in the midst of economic recovery following the early 80s recession. And while the country was focused on the economy, the mint was busy producing coins that would be passed down through generations. But here's the thing, the 1984 penny is not just any ordinary penny. Over time, coin collectors and enthusiasts started noticing something. Certain pennies from 1984 seemed to stand out from the rest. This particular year's penny was not necessarily unique in its design, but it became notable in the decades that followed as the coin world began recognizing certain characteristics that made these pennies more desirable than others. So, why exactly do some of these 1984 pennies seem to hold more value? Now, let's talk rarity. Although millions of these coins were minted, not all 1984 pennies are created equal. Over the years, a number of these pennies have been found with rare characteristics, like die cracks or off-center strikes. Some coins were even struck on incorrect planches, which could dramatically increase their value. These subtle errors are key to their worth. And, believe it or not, a penny with an error can be worth thousands of dollars. That's right, some 1984 pennies, especially those with the most unique errors, have fetched big money in auctions. But even without errors, they are still worth more than face value depending on their condition. One of the interesting things about these coins is that, for years, many people didn't realize how much rare pennies could be worth. It's easy to think of a penny as a penny, but when you start looking for these rare coins with unique features, you might just be sitting on a small fortune. Like any collectible, condition is king in the world of coins. So if you've got a 1984 penny that's shiny, with sharp details and minimal wear, you might be sitting on a hidden gem. A coin in mint state can fetch anywhere from $5 to $20 or more. But if you find one with a perfect grade, it could be worth even more. Coins graded MS 65 or higher are highly sought after by collectors, and their value skyrockets. You see, grading plays a major role in determining the value of a coin. When a coin is rated by professionals, they assess the overall quality of the coin, how crisp the features are, how well it's preserved, and how little wear it has. For example, a coin that has only been in circulation for a short time might still have a brilliant shine, making it a much more desirable piece. On the other hand, if the coin has been in circulation for years, it might show wear and tear, diminishing its value. Now, if you happen to have a 1984 penny in mint condition, and it's graded highly by a professional grading service, then you could be looking at something that's worth more than you ever imagined. Now, here's the exciting part, the errors. Some of the most valuable 1984 pennies have rare mistakes that make them incredibly valuable. Let's take a look at some of the most famous errors you should be on the lookout for. First up, the double die reverse. This happens when the coin is struck multiple times by the die, leaving a doubled image on the coin. It's very subtle but very valuable. The doubled features are noticeable on the reverse of the coin, on the words or designs, and make for an extremely rare find. It's one of those little quirks in the minting process that can make a huge difference in the value of your penny. Next, the off-center strike. If the penny was misaligned during the minting process, you might end up with a coin that's got part of the design missing on one side. This creates a one-of-a-kind appearance, and these errors can go for a pretty penny. It's all about the uniqueness of the coin. If it looks different from the others, it's likely to attract the attention of collectors. Finally, the planchette error. This is when the coin is struck on a metal piece that wasn't meant to be used for pennies, creating a unique look. For instance, a penny might be struck on a planchette intended for another denomination, like a dime. This is a rare occurrence, but when it happens, these coins can be extremely valuable. So, just how much is the 1984 D penny worth? Well, it depends on the condition and any potential errors it may have. A standard 1984 D penny, in circulated condition, might only be worth around a few cents over face value. But if you've got one of these rarer error pennies in uncirculated or near-mint condition, they can sell for hundreds to thousands of dollars at auction. To put it into perspective, an MS-65 graded 1984 D penny could be worth around $67, as of recent auction prices. Now, for those of you who are wondering, that's not pocket change. That's a pretty solid return on a coin that many people would overlook in their change jar. Can you imagine finding a single coin worth that much just because of its condition or a small error? It's a game changer for collectors. So how can you tell if your 1984 D penny is worth more than 1 cent? First, grab your magnifying glass and look closely at the coin. Start by checking for errors, like double die or off-center strikes. Then, inspect the coin for wear and tear. The better the condition, the more valuable it might be. And don't forget, get your coin graded. A professional grading service can tell you exactly how much it's worth based on its condition. And one thing I can't stress enough, take your time when going through your collection. Sometimes, the smallest details make all the difference. It's easy to overlook minor errors, especially with something as small as a penny, but trust me, those tiny quirks can significantly increase the value. If you're serious about finding valuable coins, it's worth investing in some good magnification tools to get a better look. So, the next time you're going through your pocket change, remember to check those pennies, especially the 1984 D. It could be worth way more than you think. Whether it's a rare error or a perfectly preserved coin, it could make you big money. Keep your eyes peeled for those special coins, and you might just have a small fortune in your hands. It's a lot of fun to discover the hidden gems in your own collection. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on more exciting coin discoveries. And if you've ever found a valuable coin, let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear your story. Until next time, happy hunting, and keep on collecting. Next, 1994 1-cent coin, the secret history and why it's worth $72 million. When most people think of a 1-cent coin, they think of pocket change, the copper penny that never seems to leave your wallet. But what if I told you that some pennies, like the 1994 1-cent coin, could actually be worth an extraordinary fortune? Yes, you heard that right. Imagine finding a coin that's not just worth a penny but a staggering $72 million. It may sound unbelievable, but this seemingly ordinary penny has a fascinating and rare backstory. Stick around as we dive into why this particular penny is worth so much, the unique circumstances that led to its immense value, and how you could potentially stumble across a coin worth millions. The United States has been minting pennies since 1793. The very first pennies were large and made from copper. Over the years, the design of the penny went through many changes, and by 1909, the Lincoln Memorial penny was introduced. This coin featured Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the front and the famous memorial on the back, which became iconic. But what about the 1994 penny? In 1994, the 1-cent coin looked much like the others in circulation at the time. It had Lincoln's profile on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. The coin was struck in copper-plated zinc, like most modern pennies. It didn't stand out in any way and was just another small denomination circulating through wallets, vending machines, and cash registers across the country. It wasn't until later that collectors and numismatists began to realize that some of these pennies had something special about them. The real twist behind the 1994 penny's remarkable value comes from an error that occurred during its production. In the world of coin collecting, certain types of mistakes can actually make a coin much more valuable than one produced correctly. These errors can range from minor design misprints to major structural faults that alter the coin's appearance. In the case of the 1994 1-cent coin, it was a misalignment error that set it apart from the rest. A misalignment error happens when the dies used to strike the coin are not properly aligned, leading to a coin with an off-center design. Normally, this isn't something that would happen frequently, and when it does, it's rare enough to catch the attention of serious collectors. But what made this particular batch of 1994 pennies so special was that only a small number were struck with this misalignment, and they became an unexpected treasure for collectors once the error was discovered. These coins weren't immediately identified as rare or valuable. Most people didn't even notice the misalignment right away, and for a while, they circulated like any other penny. But as time passed, a few sharp-eyed collectors began to spot the anomaly and realized that these misaligned pennies were not just errors, they were rare, limited pieces of numismatic history. At first, the coins were sold for modest sums, but as demand grew and collectors became more aware of their existence, the price of these misaligned pennies began to skyrocket. Now, you might be thinking, how could a penny, a simple piece of pocket change, be worth millions of dollars? The answer lies in both rarity and collector demand. When it comes to error coins, the fewer of them there are in circulation, the more valuable they become. As soon as these misaligned 1994 pennies were identified as rare, they became highly sought after by collectors and investors alike. Some of these coins, especially those in near perfect condition, began to fetch impressive prices at auctions, gradually increasing in value over time. But it wasn't just any misaligned penny that would eventually reach astronomical heights. One coin, in particular, stood out as an example of how rare and valuable these misaligned pennies had become. This specific penny, a perfect example of the 1994 misalignment error, was sold at auction for a jaw-dropping $72 million. Yes, you read that right, $72 million for a single penny. It might seem surreal, but in the world of rare coin collecting, it's not as unbelievable as it sounds. How did this coin reach such a high value? A few factors played a part. First and foremost, there is the rarity of the misaligned penny. Only a handful of these coins were ever struck, and even fewer have survived in pristine condition. A coin like this is considered a once-in-a-lifetime find for collectors. The rarity of the error made the coin incredibly desirable to people who collect rare coins and have deep pockets. When these kinds of rare error coins hit the market, there's often a bidding war between collectors, which drives up the price exponentially. Another factor contributing to the coin's astronomical value is the historical significance of the error. Rare coins often hold more value than simply the price of the materials they are made from, because they represent a unique moment in history. The misalignment error on the 1994 penny may seem like a small mistake, but to coin collectors, it represents something far more significant, a piece of US mint history, forever linked to the craftsmanship of the era. Additionally, this penny's value was bolstered by the larger market for rare coins. Over the years, coin collecting has become not just a hobby but also a lucrative investment for some. High-profile coin sales often generate significant media attention, bringing in new collectors and investors who want a piece of the action. As more people become aware of these rare and valuable coins, the demand increases, and so does the price. Now, it might be tempting to go through your spare change in search of a $72 million penny, but finding one of these misaligned coins isn't as easy as it might sound. While the error wasn't widespread, the coins are not impossible to find, just highly unlikely. However, that doesn't mean you shouldn't check your pennies from time to time. Coin collecting can be a fun and profitable hobby, and even if you don't strike it rich with a misaligned 1994 penny, there are many other rare coins out there that can be worth significant amounts of money. If you're serious about finding valuable coins, it's important to educate yourself on the different types of errors that can occur in the minting process. With a trained eye, you can spot the subtle differences that might indicate a rare error coin, but finding one of these gems often requires patience, persistence, and a bit of luck. Many collectors spend years searching through coins before they stumble upon something worth a small fortune. The 1994 misaligned penny reminds us that in the world of numismatics, even the smallest mistake can lead to something incredibly valuable. While it's unlikely that you'll find one of these pennies in your pocket change, it's a reminder that treasure isn't always what it seems. A simple penny could be hiding a story of history, rarity, and value that, when discovered, could change the life of a lucky collector forever. Who knows? You might just be the one to find the next rare penny worth millions. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed learning about this rare and fascinating coin, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on more amazing stories from the world of collectibles and rare finds. Who knows what we'll discover next?